Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Royal Institute of British Architects. My name's David Gloucester, and as Director of Education here at the RIBA, it's my pleasure to welcome you to the 2017 President's Medal Ceremony, our annual celebration of the diverse and outstanding work produced in the discipline and profession of architecture across the globe. Before we start, inevitably a few housekeeping words. In the event the fire alarm does go off, please exit the building through the emergency exit located at the front and rear of the auditorium. You're very welcome to keep your mobile phones switched on throughout tonight's ceremony, although preferably in silent mode. In fact, we encourage you to take as many photos as you wish, ideally without the flash, and share them on the social media platforms using the hashtag RIBA President's Medals. Tonight, we reward achievement at all stages of architectural education, ranging from ingenious design projects at RIBA Part 1 to applied research outputs developed to enhance architectural practice. And to describe why the President's Medals, as a celebration of excellence and innovation in architectural thinking, continues to be as relevant and important now as they were when they were first awarded, please join me in welcoming to the stage the Chief Executive of the RIBA, Alan Vallance.
Thank you very much indeed, David. Ladies and gentlemen, it's a pleasure to say a few words before you this evening. I know that you'll agree with me that the outstanding projects and writing receiving awards tonight are truly remarkable. Not only were they considered to be the best of the best in their own categories, but they also reveal the breadth of interests and specialisms that define the vibrant nature of architecture. They range from musings on the notions of housing and territorial dispossession to radical technical solutions that assist the processes of design and building, to rigorous investigations into the history and the theory of architecture. To reward what makes us look up and beyond familiar horizons has always been at the heart of the Institute's identity. And the fact that the RIBA has continued to award the President's Medals for 180 years is a testament to our commitment to innovation, diversity, and to excellence. Since it was founded in 1834, the RIBA has led and been part of significant changes in the understanding and the practice of architecture. Social and political shifts across the globe and dramatic leaps in technology bring further change and exciting possibilities for our members. From 3D printing to the suspension in disbelief that virtual reality introduces, we have many new territories for inquiry, some of which are yet to be mapped. For us, this time of change is a positive one, a time to celebrate the role that architects play in defining the built environment across the world. The work you'll see this evening is an exciting glimpse into this future, where architecture continues to redefine itself at an intense creative and intellectual speed. As your membership body, we continue to evolve the support we provide to you. We've widened the dialogue with practices to develop and to support initiatives that see them take the lead on the global arena, from shaping architectural education through the provision of apprenticeships to the implementation of innovative business formats that define our practice role models. For the RIBA, to be able to continue to support our members and the profession, we must remain relevant, inclusive, and most importantly, continue to nurture and support the future of the profession. We strive to do that exactly by keeping our student membership for free, by providing support, information, and specialist professional guidance to our members throughout their professional experience, and of course, by supporting our exceptional President's Medals. Thank you, David.
Thank you, Alan. And now to start announcing the winners of tonight's awards, ladies and gentlemen, please join me in welcoming to the stage the President of the RIBA, Ben Derbyshire.
Thank you, David. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the RIBA and to the President's Medal ceremony. To stand here facing an auditorium with so many talented emerging architects before me is a real pleasure. For those of you receiving an award tonight, very many congratulations. Your work not only stood up to the scrutiny of the experts in our panels, but also stood clear above the other nominees in a year of record number of entries in the history of the RIBA medals. For everybody in this room, I'm delighted that you have all accepted our invitation to this event, and that tonight and together we can reward the talent and passion with which architecture students continue to shape the future of our profession. As I present these awards for the first time, I'm humbled that my name is joining an illustrious list of past presidents who have awarded these medals to outstanding individuals since 1836. As Alan so eloquently put it, the fact that the Institute has continued to reward innovation, talent and excellence over 180 years speaks volumes about our commitment to supporting each other and the generations of our future colleagues. Tonight you will see why it remains critical that we continue to encourage and nurture the bright minds shaping the future of our profession. The breadth of work that our judging panels assessed this year was truly outstanding, and the rigor, confidence, originality with which this year's medalists developed their own ideas and personal influences is really remarkable. We are witnessing the rise of a generation of highly capable architectural solutions with a real and collective purpose. Their reinforcement and redefinition of the role that architects play in the betterment of society shows a positive engagement of design with social and ethical agency that we should all applaud. We'll start tonight's celebrations by rewarding the importance of critical thinking and innovation as we announce the winners of the 2017 RIBA President's Awards for Research in 4 categories, followed by the winner of the RIBA Research Medal. We then move on to revealing the winners of the President's Medals in 3 different categories. First, the Dissertation Medal for the best written work submitted at RIBA Part 1 or 2 or equivalent. Then the Bronze Medal for the best design project produced during RIBA Part 1 or equivalent. And then the Silver Medal for the best design project produced during RIBA Part 2 or equivalent, as well as the winners of the Sargent Award for Excellence in Drawing, and then the SOM Foundation Fellowships. This year, the RIBA invited the largest ever number of schools of architecture in the history of the awards to take part in this celebration of excellence and talent. A record 373 institutions located in 71 countries were invited to nominate dissertations and design projects, and for months, hundreds of incredible portfolios of all shapes and sizes arrived on our doorstep from all over the world. After several days of judging, our panels agreed on the medal and commendation winners that you will see tonight. This evening also marks the preview of the 2017 President's Medals exhibition, which you'll be able to see in the practice space on our gallery on the 2nd floor of the building before it opens to the public tomorrow. And for the first time ever, this exhibition will be displayed simultaneously in 2 venues because also from tomorrow, the President's Medals will be on display at RIBA North, our Centre for Architecture in Liverpool. This exhibition features a selection of entries produced on individual panels by our printing partner, Callprint, as well as a series of films and animations. Once it closes in London in early February 2018, and following a successful format developed over the last few years, it will tour throughout the UK and internationally as a veritable visiting card to the RIBA and as a celebration of our members' creativity and tenacity. So far, we have confirmed venues for the exhibition to open over the next few months in Turkey, Azerbaijan, Saudi Arabia, Dubai, Abu Dhabi, Sharjah, Oman, Qatar, Bahrain, and Kuwait. And we're close to confirming dates and locations in India, China, Sri Lanka, Singapore, Spain, Russia, Argentina, Colombia, Australia, Norway, and Denmark. So I'd like to thank the RIBA staff, the well-travelled RIBA staff, who worked tirelessly over months to make these awards happen. And I'd like to thank you, the hard-working and talented students, academics, and practitioners for pushing the boundaries of architecture and for continuing to dream and build better communities. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Ben. We start this evening's celebrations by awarding the RIBA President's Awards for Research. This year's President's Awards for Research judging panel was chaired by Peter Clegg, Senior Partner at Field & Clegg Bradley Studios, and included Zora Cheheb, architect at Levitt Bernstein, Dr. Elizabeth Darling, Reader in Architectural History at Oxford Brookes University, Hattie Hartman, the Sustainability Editor at the Architects Journal, Dr. Matthew Jones, Senior Lecturer at the University of the West of England, Dr. Kirsten Saylor, Reader in Social and Spatial Networks at the Bartlett School of Architecture, UCL, and Professor Chris Tweed, Head of the Welsh School of Architecture, Cardiff University. These judges selected a short list of 12 papers from 51 entries received from 14 countries to read over the summer, then met at the RIBA to select the winners in each of the year's 4 categories: History and Theory, City and Community, Design and Technical, and the annual theme, Housing. Out of the category winners, they then decided which would be awarded the 2017 Research Medal. To give you a feel of the judging process and the diversity of research submissions, we asked our judges to tell you about the work they encountered and have included their responses in this film.
I think a lot of architects do research as part of their everyday process, and one of the things that we should try and do is try to celebrate that through awards such as this and bringing value to that research.
Even gathering your thoughts together to enter this would really help you kind of think about what you've achieved, and it's kind of a real skill to be able to summarise it and to, be able to explain it to other people.
It's really important to set your work in context. Assume that the readers know nothing about what you're submitting. Explain why it's important, why you're passionate about it, and why it should win.
The scope is extraordinary, from modernist buildings in Manchuria through to displaced housing for people in Jordan.
It was particularly interesting to see the variety of scales that people were looking at and working at, from very small individual elements of architecture, investigating materials, right the way through to citywide scale projects.
I noticed the emphasis a lot on user participation and user consultation, both in, for example, in the housing category, but also perhaps less expectedly in things like community and cultural history categories.
All ideas, I think, have value, and if you can demonstrate how they are valuable to our profession and to the wider world, then that's really the key.
Maybe what caught me by surprise was the way that so many people could approach research in different ways, and the ways that they can tackle issues that they're researching, really.
normally when you do research, you kind of specialise, and then you specialise a bit more, and you specialise a bit more, and to step upwards and outwards and then see all the other things that people do. It's just fantastic.
I think from the point of view of practitioners, it's also really interesting to take that time to make your work in research in architecture very accessible to everyone else.
The research has to be able to stand up to close scrutiny, not just by other architects, but by people outside the architectural profession.
These awards offer the opportunity to really kind of try to grasp the range of work that's being done across architectural research around the country and beyond.
I think it's evolving, I think it's slowly evolving, but we've got to be sure that we can bring along the rigour with that.
And I think there's a real value in having awards which look cross practice and cross academia.
I don't think architectural research should only take place in the ivory tower of the university of, people who are paid to do research. I think it's something that everyone should be doing.
Submitting to the RIBA Research Awards and being recognised is a fantastic way to put your work in the public domain. I mean, this shows what the RIBA is concerned about, what the best research coming through is, and we really need to promote all the research that goes on in architecture and let it be shared with a wider audience.
And so on to the Research Award winners. Up first, the winner of the History and Theory category, entitled Ultramodernism in Manchuria. This is a valuable study that reclaims a little-known instance of modern architecture, one which, as the authors note, goes some way to recalibrating ideas of where modernity and architecture intersected in the early to mid-20th century, providing a useful counterpoint to most Western-centric histories. The work sheds light on an extraordinary period of non-Western modernism, predating both Le Corbusier and the post-World War II explorations of urbanism, and casting both the location and modernism in a new light. The research was undertaken by Dr. Edward Dennison of the Bartlett School of Architecture, UCL, with independent researcher Guangyu Ren. The winners of the History and Theory category are Edward Dennison and Guangyu Ren. And the next winner for the Learning from Projects category is titled Towards Healthy Housing for the Displaced. With growing global concern over the plight of refugees, this is well-timed research. The paper focuses on the thermal comfort of temporary shelters in displacement camps, an important and very relevant topic. Well-written and well-argued, and using interviews with occupants, the paper offers interesting comparisons between the use and environment of the shelters. Based at the University of Bath, the authors and winners of the housing category are Dr. Dima Al-Badra, Professor David Coley, and Dr. Jason Hart. The penultimate winner for the category City and Community is the author of a project titled London's Local Character and Density. This is a fascinating study that reveals a new way of examining the city as a site for future growth. The identification of 15 character types linked to tri-scale mapping makes this a useful tool for a range of users. And while the task of characterising all of London is immense, this study shows how that may be achieved. The winners of the City and Community category are Allies and Morrison LLP, and representing the team tonight are Jane Manning, George Garofalakis, Anthony Rifkin, and Jeff Noble. And our final research award for the category Design and Technical is given to the project The Development of the Building Envelope Using Welsh-Grown Timber, a study through prototyping. This is a very well-conceived project with the potential to have a significant impact on the Welsh timber industry. It offers a practical solution to an economic and architectural problem with due consideration of the difficulties therein. The paper links the research into design research and the generation of prototypes, and links with local colleges. The winner of the Design and Technical category from the Welsh School of Architecture, Cardiff University, is Dr. Stephen Coombs. And now the research medal itself, which is awarded to one of these 4 category winners. Like you, they do not know which of them has won the research medal. So this remarkably well-written and well-researched paper is an assemblage of documentation from different sources that, summarized for this submission, provides innovative perspectives on the topic and a significant contribution to knowledge in this area. The project's evaluation is sensitive to the local context, and its findings have the potential to radically alter our understanding of the location. Ladies and gentlemen, the RIBA President's Medal for Research goes to Ultramodernism in Manchuria, awarded to Edward Dennison and Guang Yu Reng.
Absolutely no idea, and I am truly honoured on behalf of Guang Yu and myself to receive this award. There's a lot of people to thank, most particularly, I think, our parents for supporting us through this and many other projects, to my students for their constant inspiration in the work that they do, to the Bartlett School of Architecture for supporting me and the research that Guang Yu and I are able to do in fairly distant places, perhaps, And also to the RIBA, the judges, and particularly to Kat and Dylan for all their support in last year's work and this year's work. We're really, truly humbled. It's a piece of work that when we started out, we didn't realise would have such resonance with the state of the world today, and in particular this part of the world. Our work tries to expose places, peoples, themes that are overlooked, that are underrepresented or are often ignored, and I hope that this goes to some way to, as it was said, that redressing the imbalance in this particular field. So thank you very much on behalf of Guang and myself for the award.
So congratulations to all our research category winners and to the 2017 RIBA research medalists. We now move to the announcement of the winner of the RIBA Dissertation Medal. So this year's Dissertation Medal judging panel was chaired by Professor Peg Rawes of the Bartlett School of Architecture, UCL, and included Professor Tom Abernathy of Delft University of Technology, Dr. Vary McVicker of the Welsh School of Architecture at Cardiff University, and Professor Dmitry Shridkovsky, Rector at the Moscow Architectural Institute, Russia. Well, after reading dozens of dissertations over the summer, no small task, the full judges met at the RIBA on 20th of September to discuss them in detail before they selected the winner of the 2017 RIBA Dissertation Medal. And this is what happened on that day.
The process of the competition this year was very exciting.
The quality overall, I think, was really high.
The students surprised me by their confidence and competence.
We've had a final group of theses which have been exceptional.
One of the things that first appeared to me is, I would say, the broad scope of the dissertations, particularly in the methodology that they were using.
There was a really interesting thread across the dissertations of just pushing at the edges of what might be considered architectural practice boundaries.
The voice of each student was individual. It was not just an industry of producing dissertation.
These are students who are working at an incredibly high level. They're very, very independent thinkers.
They are really working from what I would call within the field of architecture.
Each of them has a very focused architectural inquiry.
The winning dissertation took on a very, very focused study in a really confident way. It brought lessons that had wider implications for how we think about dwelling and how we think about housing and how we think about our work practice and what role architects play within that.
The subject of that dissertation is in some kind of way a very prosaic subject, but then starts to unfold for us a variety of narratives, narratives that have to do with labor, narratives that have to do with gender relations within a certain society.
They are written beautifully. We've got work that really is not just for the profession. It's there as a set of comments about architects engaging in societal issues.
It's really important to award a dissertation medal because it allows a moment of reflection, and so it gives time and space to think critically about issues, to understand how they're situated within wider contexts.
It is very, very important to have the medals present and to indeed propel and applaud the sort of research that is going on.
It makes future architects more sure of themselves. It helps them to make their way through the not easy profession.
We have students who are working really very closely with issues that are of concern to society more generally. It's dealing with serious questions that are being thought about by individuals involved in governance. That's a really exciting outcome from the competition this year.
Well, this year the judges awarded 3 commendations in addition to the medal. And to present them, together with the RIBA President, I would like to invite to the stage RIBA Vice President Education, Alan Jones. The first commendation in this category goes to the dissertation Architecture in Uniform, PSTD Prevention in Military Architecture. This dissertation explored whether combat accommodation within war zones could be better designed to prevent post-traumatic stress disorder. Using a detailed survey, it provides a design solution for the areas of military bases most likely to support the prevention of PTSD. Described by the judges as highly ambitious, thorough, and well-written understanding of mental health, the dissertation was written under the guidance of Timothy Martin as part of the author's RIBA Studio Part 2, a recognised professional qualification delivered by Oxford Brookes University on behalf of the RIBA as an alternative route into architecture. Ladies and gentlemen, the winner of the commendation is Christopher Rogers. The second commendation goes to the dissertation, Building Resilient Communities in New York City, Rethinking Gentrification and the Role of the Architect. Developed through critical reflections from personal professional internship experience in New York City and Brooklyn, the author examines contemporary discourses about regeneration and housing in the US, using a skilled integration of qualitative interviews, local history and community activism, together with important critical housing, economics, and regeneration scholarship. The judges considered this to be an exceptional dissertation, showing a mature and ambitious engagement with issues of community displacement and disenfranchisement resulting from regeneration. The dissertation was supervised by Giorgio Ponzo at the Edinburgh School of Architecture and Landscape Architecture, and the author and winner of the second commendation is Naomi Rubra. The third commendation in the dissertation category goes to Multimedia Oblivion, Palmyra, Violence, Erasure, and the Corporeal Architectural Body. This thesis undertakes a highly sophisticated and complex research project into material and digital understanding of the destruction of Palmyra. It combines superb handling of theoretical literatures together with an insightful and critical understanding of the role of ideological, technological, economic, and historical frameworks to argue that definitions of architectural heritage are constructed by highly conflicted geopolitical interests. Nominated by the Architectural Association, where he was tutored by Dr. Mark Campbell, the author is Rory Sherlock. And now, the winner of this year's RIBA Dissertation Medal. Titled Barixio, the Slate Quarryman's Barracks in northwest Wales, this is an outstanding dissertation about an important but unknown context for temporary housing for Welsh slate workers during the 19th and 20th centuries. It synthesises highly original archival materials, archaeological interpretation of the buildings, beautiful photography, and an extremely nuanced social history about the lives of these buildings, the men who lived in and worked from them, and their cultural settings, including insights into masculinity and friendship. The dissertation was tutored by Harry Charrington at the University of Westminster, and its author and the winner of the 2017 RIBA Dissertation Medal is Rhiannon Boa.
I'd like to thank the RIBA for their continued support and celebration of the architectural education. I'd also like to thank the University of Westminster for all of my time there, and in particular, my dissertation tutor, Harry Charrington. And I'd also like to thank all of my family and friends, especially my partner, who drove me all the way to Wales to make my research trip possible. Thank you.
Congratulations to our winners in the dissertation category. Now, as part of their ongoing support of the President's Medals, the UK Office of Architectural Practice Skidmore, Owings and Merrill also awarded the SOM Foundation Fellowships UK. Selected from this year's UK entries for the RIBA Bronze and Silver Medals, the fellowships were judged by a panel comprising Kent Jackson, design partner at SOM, Andy Bowe, senior partner at Foster & Partners, and Alex DeRaker, founding director at DRMM. And in addition to awarding the fellowships for Part 1 and Part 2, the SOM judges awarded one commendation in each category. And at Part 1, the commendation goes to the project Innovate to Conserve, Whisky Distillery in Ballycastle, nominated by Queen's University Belfast and tutored by Keith McAllister and Mark Hackett. The project addresses the decay of the urban fabric of Ballycastle, a town situated on the north coast of Ireland, by proposing a distillery that becomes a new social space for the community. The author is Luca Garoli. At Part 2, the commendation goes to the project Archaeological Mechanisms. Tutored by Mark Dorian and Ikaterini Antonopoulou at the Edinburgh School of Architecture and Landscape Architecture, the project re-examines the objectives and technologies used by archaeologists to restore the Acropolis, and proposes 4 machinic devices that both amplify the process of conservation and provide new ways of viewing the temples and city that surrounds them. The author of this commendation is Claire Longridge. And at part 1, the SOM Foundation Fellowship goes to the project 24-hour Soho Entertainment Centre. The project is based in Soho's Berwick Street and is designed to host the street's market, as well as being a new music and theatre venue. Focusing on the adaptability of the new structure, the proposal is a 24-hour centre that can change the space and its purpose as and when needed. The project was nominated by the University of Greenwich, where it was tutored by the 2009 RIBA silver medalist Nicholas Stepaniak and by Jonathan Walker. The winner of the SOM Foundation Fellowship at Part 1 is Andrei Cyprian Koyosaru. And at Part 2, the SOM Foundation Fellowship is awarded to the project The Aesthetics of Hope, the newest Basilica of Guadalupe. The project explores the methods and processes in which popular culture appropriates and interprets official architecture and speculates how the end product may be, in itself, the emergence of a new style in architecture. The author sustains this hypothesis by examining the tiny, self-built chapels of the unregulated settlements of Mexico City as examples of architecture made outside the boundaries of official culture that become indistinct from their prototype, from their archetype, I beg your pardon. This approach is used to propose that the popularity of imaging and modeling software like SketchUp in a socio-historical context where DIY culture is the norm allows for redefinition of architectural meaning and taste. Nominated by the Royal College of Art, the project was tutored by Satoshi Isono, Clara Craft, and Guan Li. And we are delighted that the author has traveled from his home in Mexico City to be with us tonight. Ladies and gentlemen, the winner of the SOM Foundation Fellowship at Part 2 is Andres Soto. Well, congratulations to our fellows, and thanks once again, as always, to SOM. And now, on to the RIBA bronze and silver medals. To select this year's winners, we gathered two groups of renowned experts from academia and practice at the RIBA over 2 days in October to assess the largest number of entries in the history of these awards. As chair of the bronze medal judging panel, I was joined by Alan Jones, RIBA Vice President Education, Izaskun Chinchilla, Senior Teaching Fellow at the Bartlett School of Architecture, UCL, and founder of Izaskun Chinchilla Architects, Pippo Chora, Senior Curator of Architecture at the Maxi Museum, Rome, and tutor at the University of Camerino, and Tracy Meller, partner at Rogers Stirk Harbour and Partners. And on the silver medal judging panel, Alan and I were joined by Sean Griffiths, Professor of Architecture at the University of Westminster, and Jing Liu, founder and principal of Soil, New York City. And to give you an idea, you know what's coming, of what happened during those 2 intense days of judging, we of course captured the judging on film.
One might argue that one of the greatest areas of architectural innovation in terms of the profession is in the student body, and that's, I think, what we're judging in this award.
1 in 10 of our ideas ever makes it to actually being a building, so the power to and the ability to keep coming up with good ideas and developing them is as important as the end product.
I think it was a good way to understand how the students are preparing themselves to face such a complicated ambition, which is to be an architect today.
Architecture is essentially about ideas, because it's not just about doing a nice building, it's about responding to all the things that are happening in society.
I felt that the range and diversity of the projects was huge.
And what's clear, looking at the work, is how research is used to explore issues in a very structured, rigorous way that then makes for not just creativity, but creativity with purpose, that actually it's answering a problem, it's having positive impact on the world. Both of those are here in the President's Medals today.
I think anybody who has any contact with the millennial generation understands that the housing crisis is absolutely fundamental, and that solving it has to be something which architects re-engage with.
The students are starting to, let's say, have knowledge that is fundamental and meaningful for architectural design.
Sometimes architecture tends to forget a little bit that it's shaped also by the people who live in it.
Winning projects that we chose were the ones that held themselves strong in methodological and investigative process.
The final building is not the most important thing about it at all. It's all these beautiful processes that student went through. Highly conceptual, highly rigorous and highly inventive, and that's what we gave the award for.
That confidence is starting to come through, and it gives individuality, it gives a sort of clarity, which is very, very pleasing to see.
Above all, I think we saw a range of beautifully presented, very well argued and extraordinarily ambitious schemes.
Students today are kind of shaping a different kind of architect in a newly fed relationship with society, with the space of the city.
It's very telling of our time and the way in which the world is moving, and that, we have to adapt and change and move with it.
I would be excited to see what our students of today's generations are able to take architecture towards.
Those that are currently in university are very much interested in how to improve the world and how to make a positive impact.
We need to see architecture as a realm of possibility, and for no student or practitioner to see it as being limited either by their personal ambition or the areas into which their endeavour is focused. In the bronze medal category, reserved for design work produced at RIBA Part 1 or equivalent, the judges awarded a commendation and the Sargent Award for Excellence in Drawing to the project Azkaya City Hall, constructing a virtual civic image. The Azkaya City Hall provides a civic centre for a gated community just outside Las Vegas. Responding to the history of exaggerated neoclassical architecture used in American municipal buildings, the project incorporates research of movement techniques in virtual reality and comparisons between historical murals and contemporary virtual space to propose a new way of experiencing civic architecture. The project was nominated by the Bartlett School of Architecture, UCL, where it was tutored by the 2005 RIBA bronze medalist Luke Pearson and by Anna Monrabel-Cook. Its author is Gabriel Beard. The second commendation in the bronze medal category goes to Seasonal Densities, Living Garden Typologies for Future London. The project re-examines the understanding of densification in the 21st century through analysis of Stepney Green Garden Village, a high-density, low-rise mixed development in Tower Hamlets. The scheme challenges the instinctive reaction to build upwards, instead borrowing traditional London terraced house typology, incorporating flora and fauna in its architecture to promote ecological density while highlighting the importance of the quality of density we live in. The project was tutored by Paolo Zaide and Tim Norden at the Bartlett School of Architecture, UCL, and the author is Shai Yin Ling. In the bronze medal category, the judges agreed to award a high commendation to the project Innovate Conserve, whisky distillery in Ballycastle. The judges were impressed by the focus on creating a building with flexible and sustainable spaces that address present and future users' needs. This is achieved by balancing design and technical necessities from the beginning of the project in a very considered manner, to ultimately regenerate the physical environment and improve the quality of life for the inhabitants of Ballycastle. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in welcoming to the stage for the second time this evening, Luca Garoli. And now the bronze medal, awarded to the best design project produced during our RIBA Part 1 or equivalent in a school of architecture located in one of the 70 countries invited to take part in the awards. The project winning the bronze medal is titled Castle in the Sky. It's a sophisticated response to London's housing crisis that finds a balance between heritage preservation and city expansion. After identifying the failure of strategies such as decentralization and high-rise, the author proposes an alternative architectural model consisting of flexible room boxes plugged into the available space above London's terraces. By using this model, space function is no longer fixed, as it becomes a product occupants can replace and change. From this, 4 different typologies of house skins are explored: the typical family house, co-living arrangements, archive space for the stuff of life, and gardens and public realm. Supervised by Alison Davis, the project was nominated by the University of Nottingham, an institution that receives an RIBA medal for the first time in the history of these awards. Ladies and gentlemen, the winner of the 2017 RIBA Bronze Medal is Kangli Zhen.
Well, thank you, David, for the short introduction of my project. I'm absolutely honored and stand here to receive the medal, honestly. Well, a little bit nervous as well. Well, firstly, I want to say thank you, RIBA, for recognizing of my work and providing such a wonderful platform for us to show our works. And also, I would like to show my gratitude to the University of Nottingham for the nomination, and also my tutors, Alison Davis and Richard Oos, and also David Shaw, especially Alison and Davis, who is kind of like a friend to work with. And lastly, I would like to mention my families and my friends for their kind of cooperation and support. Thank you.
Congratulations to all our Part 1 winners. So we'll now move to the announcement of the silver medal winners, starting with the Sargent Award for Drawing at Part 2. The judges agreed that the Part 2 entry with the best architectural drawings was an architecture of lumetric causality. The project investigates the potential of aesthetically generated realities in architecture. Through iterative deployment of generative film, physical modeling, digital scripting, and analog drawing, these methodologies reveal a series of uncanny, tangible worlds to explore. Through the programmatic design of a lost and found upon Willow Island in Munich, Germany, these variable translations of narrative, program, and context tease out spatial complexities that redefine our understanding of drawing and perception. The student was tutored by Nat Chard and Emma Kate Matthews at the Bartlett School of Architecture, UCL, and his name is Thomas Parker. The first commendation in the silver medal category goes to the project The House of Ambiguity, Constructing Fictional Space. The House of Ambiguity explores the use of fictional narrative within design processes. Using Mark Danielewski's The House of Leaves as a focal point, a series of studies rationalize and build from the novel's irrational and ambiguous descriptions of space. This process coincides with themes of permeability and interstitial space, ultimately emphasizing the significance of atmosphere within the typology of the house. The project was tutored by Ben Cowd and Sarah Chaffier at De Montfort University, and its author is Danielle Fountain. The second commendation goes to the project Landhouse, Walking the Landscape as Design Practice. The thesis investigates what it means to design a landhouse, where building and land enter into a ceaseless and reciprocally conditional dialogue. Rather than a site, the author explores a territory loosely structured by the Newcastle Morpeth Railway through extensive walking inquiry to gain a deep understanding of the working landscape and its latent infrastructures. This detailed topographical approach translates into an understanding of architecture through layered histories responding to the landscape. Tutored by Sean Young at Northumbria University, its author is Tom Hewitt. And the third commendation goes to the project Sembler. Sembler is a building system which enables fully automated construction of housing for a post-work society. Identical timber building bricks, integrated with custom robots which climb over and position the bricks, make automated assembly possible and allow for easy changes to the building over time. The system challenges failing contemporary methods of housing production, proposing automated construction as an essential tool to expand people's freedom and life fulfillment. This project was tutored by Manuel Jimenez Garcia, Giles Retzin, and Molly Claypool at the Bartlett School of Architecture, UCL, and its author is Ivo Tedbury. And so, finally, this year's RIBA Silver Medal for the Best Design Project at RIBA Part 2 or equivalent worldwide. The winning project is called Cycles of Toolmaking, an optic, tactile, haptic, material scalar and pedagogic study. Sited in the ceramic town of Mashiko, Japan, the project proposes a place for learning which responds to attitudes towards land use, agriculture, water infrastructure, extraction of clay and ceramic craft to replace a school damaged in the 2011 Tohoku earthquake. Along the process, the author keeps a detailed sensorial record of all the elements that make and define architecture. The project was developed under the supervision of Lauren Coggard and nominated by the Cooper Union, New York City, an institution that entered the RIBA President's Medals for the very first time this year. We are delighted that the author of this project is able to be with us this evening. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in congratulating and welcoming to the stage the winner of the 2017 RIBA Silver Medal, Daniel Hall.
Well, firstly, I'd like to thank the RIBA and the whole community. It's an immense honor for me and the Cooper Union. I'd like to thank all my professors and the conversations we had over those years, and my classmates, those conversations. I'd like to also thank my family, my dad, my mom, my brother, Zach, and my girlfriend, Alita. And thank you again, RIBA.
So, congratulations to all of our winners and to the universities that nominated them. And we want especially to mention the universities of Nottingham and the Cooper Union for receiving the RIBA's President Medals for the very first time. And so could we give them a big round of applause, please? It's a true privilege to be president of an institute that for 180 years has rewarded talent, innovation, and excellence in architectural thinking with these medals. And I'm very grateful to the RIBA members of staff, in particular John Paul Nunes and the education team, who worked very hard for months to make these awards happen. I would also like to thank the members of the judging panels for giving us their considerable time and expertise to select this year's winners, a real commitment to us. I do hope that you continue to enjoy tonight's celebrations by joining us at a drinks reception in the Florence Hall on the first floor, and don't forget to visit the President's Medals exhibition further up the building on the second floor. So thank you all very much indeed for coming, and do enjoy the rest of the evening. Thank you.